Hi everyone. So I want to talk to you about progress reports, which you're going to do for this assignment. Progress reports are a real document that many people turn in very frequently in the workplace. They are exactly what they sound like, a document in which you report the progress you've made on a project you're working on, okay? And they are usually in memo format, though they can be an email or an actual kind of report format for something really big. If you were on a really big project, then you might write something more like a report. But for everyday communication, a progress report is often a memo because it is official record of where you were at this stage in the project and the problems that were coming up as you were doing the project. Now, I've left you some questions to help you write the report, the memo, the progress report memo, but I want to just go over the basic ideas and concepts behind a progress report. In your workplace, there's probably tons of projects going on every day and lots of resources being shuffled around. And progress reports help your managers or supervisors understand if they need to move or purchase resources. So, for example, if I need to move people to this team because we're never going to meet our deadline unless we get more help, or you're doing so well that I could probably move some people off of your team, do you need me to purchase something to help you get this done on time? Should I bring in a consultant? Do I need to contact the client and tell them that this is going to be a week late? What do I need to do as a manager? So I count on you, if I'm the boss, I count on you to be honest with me in your progress report about the progress you've made so far and your plan for finishing. And when you're talking about the progress you've made so far, you want to seem professional and confident and like you've actually started doing the assignment or the project, because your bosses are going to be like, what have you been doing this whole time, right? You want to seem like you have started and you've been working on it. But you do want to really be honest and not just fudge, like, this is great, everything's awesome. You want to be honest about any complications that have come up and ones that you have fixed. You know, this was difficult for me, but I fixed it, and here's how I fixed it. Because that's helpful for the manager to know, like, okay, we got, this was a problem that we should keep in mind next time, but there might be a fix to that problem. You can also go over problems that you have not solved yet. Like, I'm having trouble with X and I don't know what the solution is yet, because that helps your manager or a supervisor understand, like, okay, this is a problem. If we ever do this project again, we may need to find a better solution to it, or I may need to allocate resources to this project to help this person find an answer to the problem, so on and so forth, okay? And then you want to go over things that are going really well or that have gone really well for you so far, because they help your manager or supervisor understand, like, okay, if we do the project again, note to self, this was something that worked really well, okay? So you want to be truthful about those kinds of things so that your manager understands what has happened so far and what has worked and not worked so far. Then you're going to go over what still needs to happen, and that should include a timeline. So you're not just going to be like, what needs to happen is I need to finish, right? Yay, I got to finish the whole thing. It has to be broken down. What exactly do you have to do in order to finish? Like, what are your actual tasks that you need to get done in your mind? And then what's your schedule or timeline for getting that done? And what are you worried about? Again, useful for your manager or supervisor to know. If there's anything that you're worried might not go well, now is the time to mention it to your manager or supervisor, okay? Now, you can write a memo that's like, everything's going fantastic, everything has been going fantastic, I've got it completely under control, but that better be true. In much more cases, like the huge majority, there is something discussed in the memo about something that was difficult or hard to do. Whether that was solved or not is different from case to case, right? But there must have been a part that was a little bit of a headache in most cases, or still is a little bit of a headache, and you should just be upfront about that. So I'm not going to be grading you on the content in the sense that if you are having a lot of trouble with your project, you're going to get a worse grade than somebody who's having a really easy time of it. That is not going to affect the grade on this assignment at all. What I am looking for is that this is an appropriate report, whereas if I was your boss or manager, I would feel like you answered the major questions and I have an understanding of what you have done exactly, what is finished, okay? How hard or easy were those things to do? What do you still have to do? How are you going to get it done? And what is worrying you and what is not worrying you about getting it done? so that I have a sense of like, okay, you're good, I'm going to leave you the way you are, or like, okay, you need help, I need to figure out how to get you help. Or you might, if you were on a team, in the case that you were on the team, you might have too many people on your team, and I might be able to pull a person off your team and move them, right? So I need enough information as a boss or supervisor. So it's not about is your project going well or is your project not going well, is are you giving me enough information as the audience for your memo, okay? And also, it is a memo and should be formatted appropriately. A lot of you guys have kind of started to get confused again about emails versus memos. Make sure it's a memo, and it should be skimmable as a memo. And so you're probably going to have like bullets and headings and things like that to help break up the information. I should not open this and see huge paragraphs of text. I want it to be skimmable. Imagine I'm the boss and I'm getting 10 progress reports today. I need to know what everybody needs, who needs what, and I need to get through the information quickly. But I need the real information, all of it, just I need to be able to read it really quickly. So your job is to make sure that the memo is skimmable. You are going to be graded on appropriate memo formatting and skimmability. I've also given you a 300-word minimum. If you were writing an essay, a 300-word minimum would be one double-spaced page in Times New Roman font. So it's not that much text, but you are not going to turn in double-spaced paragraphs because, as you learned in the last chapter you read, the paragraphs should be single-spaced, chunked paragraphs, right? And in that chapter, you learned about how to make things pretty, how to format them correctly. So I expect a well-formatted memo, okay? I think that should make the assignment pretty clear to you. The last thing I'll say is I didn't make you read the chapter. There were 2 chapters on reports. I only made you read one of the chapters. But in the other chapter, chapter 12, between pages 324 to 327, they go over progress reports and they give an example of a progress report. You do not have to follow that example, but it will give you an example of a progress report. But you can format it totally differently. The key here is that you're giving me the information that I need and making it skimmable in correct memo format. And keeping in mind your purpose to inform me, your boss, about what's been done, what needs to be done, where do the difficulties lie, where do the difficulties not lie, and also making it appropriate for me in terms of skimmability and all of that, okay? So let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise I'll expect the progress report, and then you can go right back to doing your video ahead of the due date on Monday, okay? Let me know if you have any questions.